you have to understand, almost nobody believed we could eradicate smallpox. Smallpox was not really a regular disease. Mm-hmm. It was ubiquitous all over the world. Everybody had it. I mean, the scale of it was so much that in the 20th century, how many of you were alive in the 20th century? Now, come on, that was only 18 years ago. So, I mean, right? In the 20th century, 500 million people died from smallpox. 500 million people. I mean, it's not like that was a long time ago, but it was everywhere. And almost everybody in WHO thought that we were crazy. Smallpox was the 4th disease considered for eradication. We had failed to eradicate yellow fever, mostly because monkeys do not stand in line, putting their arms out to get vaccinated. And monkeys get yellow fever. We had failed to eradicate yaws. We had failed to eradicate malaria. So it wasn't unduly skeptical to think that we wouldn't be able to eradicate smallpox. And in fact, in all the time I worked in WHO, I never met a single WHO official who believed that we could eradicate smallpox, except the people working on the smallpox program. And I write in the book a story of the head of communicable diseases. This is the top guy. DA worked for him. We all worked up for the head of communicable diseases, Dr. Ignatowicz, a Polish epidemiologist. And he said, trying to eradicate smallpox in India is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of. It's a fool's mission. Mm-hmm. You might be able to eradicate it in America because it's a rich country. You might be able to eradicate it in Burma because it's a totalitarian government. But you'll never eradicate it in India, and I'm so sure that if you ever could eradicate smallpox, I will eat the tire from a Land Rover. And really, one of the happiest days of my life was when Nicole Grasset took a tire of a Land Rover to Palam Airport in New Delhi and put it in a crate and wrote a little note, "Dear Dr. Ignatowicz, enclosed please find one tire from one Land Rover. Would you kindly report back to us the texture, the bouquet, and if you need any mustard or ketchup." So it wasn't exactly that everybody agreed that we'd be able to do that. It was hard.
So is it incremental progress that was keeping people encouraged that one region over another would get cleansed and that would take you to the more
That is
intense one?
exactly it. It was a great strategy. Mm-hmm. You kind of pick off the low-hanging fruit, mm-hmm. and you work in countries that you think you've got a better chance at it, and by the time we got there, there were only 4 countries that still had smallpox. When the program began in 1965, there were 35 countries. And then we did the same thing inside India. You would go to the states that were better developed, which were the southern states, and you'd work there first, and you put a ring around the most difficult states, which were the 4 Hindi-speaking states, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and we'll call Bengal a Hindi-speaking state. It isn't really. But those 4 states were the last states in the world with smallpox. And this little girl with that balloon, that's the last case of killer smallpox to occur in nature. And her name is Rahima Banhu. And she was in Bangladesh in a little island called Bola Island, the very same island that Wavy and John, Girija and I set off to go to that had that terrible cyclone. And she was in a little village called Karalia village. And when the scabs fell off her and she coughed, and the last viruses left her body and landed on the ground in Bangladesh, and they were cooked by the sun, that was the end of an unbroken chain of transmission of one of the worst diseases, if not the worst disease in human history. And I was there, and I took that picture. And I bought that balloon, Smallpox Can't Be Stopped, in San Jose. And I carried those balloons around with me for 2 years. I never dreamed that I would be actually seeing the last case of smallpox.